Hey everybody, John Skiba here from the Arizona Consumer Law Group. And in this video, we're going to answer a kind of unique question that we received recently on a live Q&A video I did with consumer protection attorney John Watts. John works in the state of Alabama. I'm John Skiba. I'm a consumer protection attorney as well, and I work in the state of Arizona. We received a question from one of the viewers to our live stream that asked whether the statute of limitations is impacted by the fact that many of the courts throughout the country are closed during this COVID-19 pandemic. So if you remember, the statute of limitations is the amount of time that a creditor has to sue you from the time that the account goes into default. So the question is, what if the court's closed, they can't file their lawsuit? Does that mean that the creditor is just out of luck, or are the courts going to make some allowances for that? So I want you to go ahead and listen to the answer that we provided here. I think this is a really unique question that may provide a lot of litigation down the road. We'll have to wait and see, but check out our answers here.
Yeah, so do statute of limitations on debt stay the same or change with courts being shut down? That, Kim, is a fantastic question. And I'm going to give you the answer for Alabama, which may be a little bit unique, at least in talking with other lawyers around the nation. So our courts are actually not shut down. So it's weird. They're open, but the public can't go in there. So there's been no effect on statute of limitations. So whether it's a personal injury case, whether it's a debt collection case, if somebody's statute of limitation ran on March 30, they better have filed their case by March 30. Now, I know in a neighboring state, Tennessee, there was a kind of a shutdown of the courts, and they said that will extend the statute of limitation. So I think it really depends on what state you're in. So Alabama, it's like nothing has changed. I don't know, John, about you in Arizona.
Yeah, I think the answer to that question is going to be pretty state specific. In Arizona, the courts, it's similar. They're open, but not to the public. I actually had a trial that was scheduled yesterday against Midland Funding, and we hadn't heard anything about it. But I called down there and got voicemail, and they said that we're closed. But I called back again, and I think I was getting a clerk who was working from home, and they said that, no, we're in Arizona. Well, the courts are open. They're not doing any hearings until June 1st. Right. So I would agree with you. I think it's a good point that if the statute of limitations, if it's close to expiring and they don't file their lawsuit timely, assuming that the courts are open in your state, and the definition of what's open, I guess, is going to be what the difficult thing is going to be. They're still going to be required to submit that.
Yeah, and John, just one last thing, for you to think about, Kim. There's an argument to be made, at least in some states, and I don't know if this will work or not, and it'll help some people and hurt some people, but there's an argument to be made that the Supreme Court of the state cannot extend the statute of limitations. In other words, that's the legislature has created these certain time periods, and the courts can't change that. So, there's going to be litigation over that. And so if you get sued and somebody, quote, missed the statute of limitation, but they're counting on being extended, that may be an argument that you have to say, well, wait a minute, you really can't extend the statute of limitation in your particular state. So just it's a little bit of a technical argument, but you may want to keep that in your back pocket.
Yeah.